Welcome back to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. President Obama may have a new problem in Congress, and it's not just say no Republicans. It's House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, an old-school, strong-arming liberal whose political bully pulpit is second only to that of the White House. She even keeps a naughty and nice list. One of her congressional allies told Politico, quote, "She's not a vengeful person per se, and she thinks that people who do bad things eventually get their due without her intervention. But that doesn't mean she forgets." We're going to put this to our panel. Ed Schultz, nationally syndicated radio talk show host, Brian Grimm, senior congressional correspondent for Huffington Post, and Michelle Bernard, president of the Independent Women's Forum and an MSNBC political analyst. But yeah, I was going to ask you, why not have some issues with these blue dog Democrats, Heath Schuler or Paul Kinjorski? They didn't fall in line on the stimulus. Why shouldn't the speaker be upset with them?
Well, and that's just politics. That's the way it is. You know that phrase we always hear, you got to go along to get along. And maybe that's what we were seeing with Nancy Pelosi. But the other thing I wanted to add that I think is important to note is that regardless of whatever type of Pelosi problem President Obama might have, one of the ways that we should look at this is a sort of typical good cop, bad cop routine. A lot of the things that Nancy Pelosi is interested in, we've seen pullback from the Obama administration, and in certain instances, she makes the president look like a centrist. You know, she said she wanted troops out of Iraq immediately. Well, we're pulling troops out slowly, but we're going to do it slowly, and we're still going to leave, I think, 50,000 troops in Iraq for years to come. It makes President Obama look like a centrist to people on the right who would say that he is so far absolutely left and taking this country so far left that he's the worst thing that we've ever seen.
Ryan Graham, is that the proper role for the House Speaker?
It is, and if you look at what House Republicans have said, they've been very explicit that they're going to try to drive a wedge between Speaker Nancy Pelosi and President Obama. Whenever they get asked a question about Obama, notice that they always answer, well, this is what Speaker Pelosi has done. They're not willing to attack President Obama yet and his 65–70% approval rating. So if Pelosi can continue to deflect the heat from Obama, then the Republican strategy might actually fail and allow Obama, like she said, to continue to be this 65% extremely popular president who is driving the country into a more liberal position.
Michelle Bernard, I think the Democrats are doing a much better job of dividing the Republicans in terms of Rush Limbaugh than the Republicans are in terms of using Nancy Pelosi somehow to divide the Democrats.
Yeah, it's actually very disturbing on both sides. I think one of the things that we see with Nancy Pelosi, and whoever said this earlier was absolutely right, President Obama's approval ratings are at 70% now. Most people I think the approval ratings for members of Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, are hovering somewhere around 35%. Nancy Pelosi's job is to continue to keep Republicans in the minority party, and of course, one would assume that she's going to take the knocks, any knocks that she can for President Obama. That is absolutely her job. Now, that being said, the way that she is driving the country left, she's got to absolutely expect that Republicans and conservatives are going to attack her. That's what they do. I don't think it means that Republicans or conservatives are necessarily void of any ideas, but that's what we know. That's the type of government that we have. People are either for something or against something, and it's very difficult to get away from the type of government that we have where one party says yes and the other party says no. Doesn't mean they're void of ideas.
Michelle,
it means that this is what makes government work best.